Hey everybody, Bobby here with LYNK. Today we got a sled in the shop and we're kind of going over some of our preseason stuff on what we do to get ready. It's that time of year, leaves are changing on the trees, it's hoodie weather, we can feel that winter is coming, it's just around the corner. So wanted to show you guys just kind of a quick rundown of what we do to our machines to get them ready for the upcoming season, try to minimize any issues we're going to have throughout the season, just preventative maintenance and help your toy last a lot longer and perform the way you expect it to on the hill. So let's dive into it. We'll start kind of back here on the back of the sled, talking about our rear suspension, track assembly, and then we're going to kind of work through and go from there. So let's dive in. So back here on the rear suspension, where I typically start, is you just want to give this thing a good look over first. So we ride these sleds hard. We're doing a lot of really aggressive maneuvers in the backcountry, things like that, and it can be hard on components. So take your time and look over all your torque arms, all your suspension arms, everything like that, and make sure that there isn't any cracking or fatiguing or anything like that. Same with your suspension rails. Check and make sure your idler wheels, your bogey wheels are in good shape and they aren't deformed in any way or missing chunks or anything like that, because it's easy to happen. We have this machine up on a stand. Highly recommend something like this to be able to work on it and do your own maintenance, things like that. With it on the stand, you can remove your belt and you can rotate this track, give your track a good look, make sure, chances are, we probably have a missing paddle here or there, and that's okay. But if you got some real damage to the track, something to address now rather than on the hill when you've got a real problem and you're stuck in some drainage somewhere and have a real problem then. So keep that in mind. Make sure and hit all your available grease zerks that you have on your skid. They vary from machine to machine, so just look over yours. If you're not sure, refer to your factory owner's manual, and it'll have all the specs for that kind of stuff in there. Check and make sure you don't have any loose bolts. Check your mounting bolts, same thing. Make sure everything's nice and tight, good to go. Check your high facts. Make sure that it's not wore through and digging into a rail or anything like that. If it's getting real thin, just replace it. And then obviously check your track tension. Make sure that it's at the correct tension. Again, refer to your owner's manual for your specific sled, and it will give you that correct weight to check your track tension. Make sure your adjustment bolts and everything like that are tight and snug. And if it's been a while and you've got some miles on your machine, I would recommend pulling your shocks out and having them reconditioned. It's not really expensive, and it makes a world of difference, because as you're using your shock, especially if you got a couple thousand miles on your sled or whatnot like that, or you're a really aggressive rider and you're running through our whooped out trails, getting to the mountain and just really hammering the sled through there, the oil will break down, things wear out. It's always worth just popping them out real quick and having them reconditioned, and the sled will feel infinitely better. So definitely something to look at. If you've only got a few miles on your machine, then you're probably okay. But again, if you're putting a lot of miles on, or you're just really aggressive rider, I would recommend freshening up your shocks. So those are the kinds of things that we look at. Start there. Make sure you don't have any cracks on like your tunnel or anything like that where your mounting holes go through. If you've had a loose bolt and it started to wobble out, just check those kinds of things out real good. Make sure that there's no, when you're under here, you can see into your drivers and your axle assembly. Just make sure you don't have any chunks missing, something's hit it, any damage, anything like that. Just kind of do your due diligence looking around the thing. So that's what I do typically to start out here on the back end. And we'll go up here and kind of dive into the other side of the machine and take a quick look at the drivetrain assembly. So whether you're on a Polaris or a Cat with a dry belt setup, or you're on a Skidoo with Chaincase, you'll want to check your tension. Make sure that that is correct. If you're running a Chaincase model with oil, I would recommend changing it seasonally. It's not that much, doesn't take a lot of time. Just change the oil in it. You can check the tension in there. Make sure you don't have, when you do drain the oil, make sure you don't have any large chunks of material, anything like that. You're gonna have some natural flaking, some silvery kind of sparkles in your oil. That's pretty normal, pretty typical for a setup like that. But if you've got, pieces in there, now obviously now is the time to pull that apart and not find out that you got a major problem again when you're in a tough spot on the hill. So do that. Make sure that if you're running a belt setup that you don't have any nicks, any frays in the belt, Nothing's gotten underneath the belt and is rubbing and doing anything like that. So give that a good once over. Another thing to really check too is your brakes. Check your brakes. The riding styles have changed a lot over the last few years, and guys are dragging the brakes a lot in a lot of these type of maneuvers out in the backcountry, trying to keep momentum, keep front ends down on these things while going up a steep climb or whatever, and we find ourselves dragging our brakes all the time. So definitely take a closer look at your brake pads. Make sure you got sufficient material on your pads, that they aren't worn out and gone into your rotor, things like that. So check that out real good. And while you're in there and you're on this side of the machine, it's really easy. Make sure you have all your exhaust springs. Make sure you haven't lost any springs, anything like that over there. This is why the sled's off the ground. Check your steering. Make sure that you don't have any loose ball joints, tie rod joints, anything like that. Give everything a good once over. Just really spend some time looking in here. Get in here and look into the engine compartment. Make sure you don't have any hoses rubbing on anything. Make sure you don't have any wires rubbing on anything. Things like that. Just go through and validate things. So with that, depending on how many miles you've got on your machine, things like that, any runnability issues you have, a lot of times, like especially on some of these Polaris machines, pull your exhaust valves out, clean them. Especially on a higher mile machine, that's always a good thing to do, pretty simple to do. And when you do that, that's when we can really help you out. You can use our auto agent tool. You can clean your exhaust valves, put them back in, and then you can do a relearn right there, sync everything back up, and you're good to go. I would recommend, if you've got our auto agent, I would, if you have it, go ahead and do, even if you don't clean your exhaust valves, it's not going to hurt you to do a relearn at the start of every season on your valves. And if you're running a boost machine, go ahead and relearn your wastegate as well. Just make sure everything's in sync and you're good to go. And there's that. So moving forward to the front suspension, similar as the rear, you're going to want to just check everything. Check all your joints, check all these, make sure everything is tight and snug. And again, if you're an aggressive rider, if you're really beating on the thing, pull your shocks out, have them reconditioned. Again, it's not that much money and the sled will ride like new. So it does make a big difference. Check your skis, check your skags, make sure everything there is good to go. You don't have any broken skags or anything like that. Just check all that stuff out. Make sure all your joints on your steering is tight and you don't have any loose ones of those. So moving on to clutch, things like that. This is where you'll want to spend a little bit of time, a little bit of care, because this makes all the difference in the world. So I would recommend popping the clutch off, really cleaning up both of them, go through, pull them apart a little bit, take the cover out, take the spring off, check your spring, make sure your spring's not broken. It's very common to break a primary spring. So check those, make sure that they're in good working order. Check all your rollers, make sure they're in good working order. Check your weights, make sure that your bushings and your weights aren't worn out. Last thing you want is a weight in there starting to fly at an angle and wearing everything out. So check those types of things out. Check your belt deflection. Make sure when you put it all back together that your belt is riding correctly in the secondary and that your belt deflection is set right. Check your alignment. Make sure that your alignment is correct as well. That's the fastest way to wreck a belt or to just have poor performance with your machine, is to not have your deflection set right and your clutches way out of alignment. You're making all this power with these new machines, but you got to get it to the ground. So make sure that your drivetrain and all your clutching is clean and is just set properly. Again, refer to your owner's manual, depending on your machine, for proper tools to do your clutch alignment and what specification that needs to be. So there's more we're going to get into. And we're going to do more of these videos where we kind of dive a little bit deeper into each one of these topics, and we'll show you a little bit more and get a little bit more involved. So, but for now, right now, as we're getting these things out and we're getting ready for the year, that is a high level view of a lot of the stuff that we focus on and make sure that machines are good to go for the year. And something else too, your fuel. Check your fuel. Depending on how you stored your machine, if it sat inside in a nice climate controlled place all year, it's probably not too bad. If your machine was sitting outside underneath a cover on a trailer in the backyard throughout the summer with all the atmospheric changes and the temperature changes and everything like that, there's a good chance that your fuel has gone by the wayside, I would probably recommend just pulling that out, pulling the tank off, draining the fuel, throwing fresh fuel in it. Just not something you want to have to mess with. So be aware of that. And we're going to dive more into the features and benefits that we can bring to you with our tool, with the auto agent here. And we'll dive, like I said, a lot deeper into that, get more deep into this machine here and others, and really show you what we can do and how we can help you out to make sure that we're all having a good time on the snow, and that we can minimize any potential issues or failures or anything like that. So as always, guys, thanks for checking us out. Look for more content. We're going to be putting out more and more of this kind of stuff. So thanks again, and we'll see you out on the mountain.